Once upon a time, the goddess of prosperity, the symbol of wealth and food, had 160 million kids to create the world. She loved her first kid, Hatsar, more than anyone else, but he was greedy and always wanted to rule alone. Using his cunning, he convinced his mother to give him gold. When he tried to get food, his siblings attacked him. To protect Hatsar, the goddess made a deal. He wouldn't be worshipped, and people would forget him. He slept in his mom's womb for 1,000,000 years. But one day, someone built a temple in his name to gain money and power. That's when the village got cursed, and it rained non-stop. The story begins in 1918 in a small village, Tumbbad. A poor woman named Sarka was desperate for money, so she goes to a castle daily to fulfill an older man's lustful desires, in the hope that by doing this, he will give her the gold coins someday. But when she reminds him of his promise, he refuses and tells her to earn it. At her home, two young boys, Sadashiv and his older brother, Vinayak, noticed that the older woman was hungry. They decided to feed her while their mom was away. Vinayak prepared the meal and told Sadashiv to feed her. Just as they were about to feed her, their mother came and scolded them. She took the food from Sadashiv and fed the older woman herself. Later, Vinayak helped his mom in shaving her head. When he learned that the older man refused to give her the coin, he angrily said he should have given it to her since she was his mistress. It turned out that the older man was his father, and the lady in the cage was their grandmother. Suddenly, they heard a strange noise from her room. Sarka checks on her and warns her to sleep, or else Haster will come. The next day, the older man passed away. After witnessing his burial, Sarka decides to leave the village and move to Pune. However, Vinayak disagreed with her plan. He believed there was a hidden treasure inside the castle, which now belonged to them since the older man was gone. So he suggested they should start living in the castle instead. However, his mother disagreed, insisting that the castle had no treasure and they needed to leave the village by tomorrow. Her younger son, Sadashiv, falls off a tree. She rushes him to a doctor and leaves Vinayak at home. She tells him to feed the old lady on time, and if she wakes up, remind her to sleep, or else Haster will come. When Vinayak returns home, he discovers the food is burnt. He hears a strange noise and goes into the old lady's room. She tries to trick him, so he runs out and attempts to cook food for her. In the chaos, Vinayak forgot his mom's warning about his grandmother. She came from behind, chained his leg, and dragged him to her room to eat him. Just as she was about to hurt him, he remembered his mom's words. He quickly said, "Sleep, or else Haster will come to get you." She immediately collapsed and fell asleep. Haster had granted her a boon of immortality. Even if her whole body gets damaged, she will remain alive. Just then, Vinayak's mother returned in tears, informing him of Sadashiv's tragic death. After performing the last rites for his brother, they immediately leave the village. However, Vinayak was a greedy person. He insisted on staying in Tumbbad to uncover the secret of the hidden treasures from his grandmother. She angrily gives him the gold coin she had taken from the older man. She forces him to promise not to come back to Tumbbad ever again. 15 years later, Vinayak couldn't resist his curiosity and returned to Tumbbad. He went to his mother's abandoned house. He found the old lady in a transformed tree. He noticed her heart was still alive, and they began to talk. However, she warned him against seeking the treasure because of a terrible curse attached to it. Eventually, they struck a deal. She would reveal the secret of the gold if he helped ease her suffering. After learning the secret, Vinayak fulfilled his part of the agreement and set the older woman's tree on fire, releasing her from her eternal suffering. After several months, Vinayak returned to Pune and his wife, who was grinding wheat to make a living. He isn't happy about their situation and goes to see his lender, Raghav, an opium dealer. Vinayak's debt had grown so much that the interest exceeded the principal. He presented a gold coin, and Raghav agreed to buy it for 100 rupees. Vinayak then gave him 3 more coins, paying off his entire debt with interest. Afterward, he continued to gather more gold secretly. Vinayak never shared his secret with anyone, not even his wife. Raghav grew suspicious and visited Vinayak's home to inquire his wife about the source of their newfound wealth. Just then, Vinayak arrived. Raghav asked to join his mysterious business, but Vinayak refused. To keep an eye on Vinayak, Raghav brought a whore disguised as a housemaid to his home. Vinayak's wife disapproved, but he asked her to take the woman upstairs. That night, the woman sneaked into Vinayak's room, and he followed her, intending to have an affair. But she revealed Raghav's plan to keep him. Sensing danger, Vinayak devised a plan to handle the situation. The next day, Vinayak returned to Tumbbad, and Raghav secretly follows him. Aware of Raghav's pursuit, Vinayak led him to the well, where he found the gold coins. Greedy and unaware of the consequences, Raghav entered the well alone. Deep inside, he discovered a reddish chamber, the source of prosperity. Filled with terror, he opened a small jar containing a moldy dough doll. At that moment, Hastur, the monstrous beast, attacked him. Vinayak enters the well and finds that the curse has affected Raghav. He commanded him to sleep, or else Hastur will come to get you. He opened the same jar with the molded figure, but this time, he draws a protective circle around him with grain flour. The beast appeared and attempted to attack him, but the circle repelled its attack. He throws the doll at him, and before he can finish eating, Vinayak collected the gold that had fallen from the beast's loincloth. Before leaving the goddess's chamber, he set Raghav on fire, ensuring the secret of the cursed treasure remained his alone. 14 years later, India was fighting for its independence. Vinayak continued to exploit the cursed treasure. He became the wealthiest man in town, owning a house and a car. He indulges in a luxurious lifestyle. He often hosts lavish parties and gets addicted to various immoral hobbies. Vinayak now had 3 children, 2 daughters and a son. His son, Pandurang, practiced rope climbing and treasure hunting daily, preparing to carry on the family's dangerous legacy. One day, Vinayak decided it was time to introduce his son, Pandurang, to the secrets of Tumbbad. Later on, he told his wife to prepare their son for the journey. So father and son drove to Tumbbad, where Vinayak revealed the truth about the treasures hidden within the goddess's womb. At the entrance to the well, Vinayak crafted a dough doll and explained to Pandurang that Hastur would appear when he saw the mold. Hastur loves grain because that is what he could not get. And he also fears it, which prevents him from crossing any line made with grain flour. After tossing the doll away, Vinayak and Pandurang descended into the well together, ready to face the challenges. Inside the goddess womb, Pandurang revealed a hidden dough doll. Instantly, Hastur appeared and attacked them. Vinayak tried to protect his son. Pandurang rushes and pulls on Hastur's loincloth. Numerous gold coins spilled out, and he managed to grab a few. They quickly escaped the well, narrowly avoiding a dire fate. Once they are out, Vinayak gets furious with his son's reckless actions. He scolded and punished him harshly. On their way home, Vinayak handed his son a single gold coin, instructing him to keep it safe. Upon their return, Vinayak's wife questioned their son about what he had seen in Tumbbad. Pandurang replied that it was a matter between him and his father, and suggested she focus on her household duties. Later that night, Pandurang met with his father's mistress. He assured her that he would marry when the time was right and decided to give her his gold coin as a gesture of trust. Vinayak received news from government authorities that his annexed castle in Tumbbad had been handed over to the government. The government planned to demolish it and build a small village in its place. Worried about losing access to the treasure, Vinayak explained the situation to his son and showed him all their accumulated wealth, emphasizing that they needed to live on this money alone. Later, he discovers the gold coin in the hand of his mistress. Vinayak gets furious and punishes his son badly. Pandurang suggested a risky idea to steal Hastur's loincloth. They could use multiple dough dolls to distract Hastur while they steal the loincloth, the primary source of the gold coins. Vinayaka thought about it and then agreed to the plan. Unaware that his mistress was secretly observing them, after a few days, the father and son duo set out to execute their plan. They mold many dough dolls at the well's entrance before entering the goddess's womb. As Pandering revealed the dolls inside the womb, multiple hasters appeared, one for each doll. Vinayak ordered his son to keep the dolls in his bag, but it was too late. In panic, Pandering threw some dolls to the beasts, causing a frenzy among them. One of the beasts attempts to cross the circle they had drawn with grain flour, but it disappears and turns into flour. The lights go off, and Vinayak ties all the dough dolls to himself. Then he decides to climb the ropes to lure the beasts, fully aware that they might attack him. Pandering begs his father to reconsider, but Vinayak proceeds with his plan and is soon swarmed by the creatures. Distraught, Pandering cries over the loss of his father and climbs out of the goddess's womb alone. He finds Vinayak outside the well, severely injured by Hastur's attack. The curse has now fallen upon Vinayak, who bravely sacrificed himself to save his child. Vinayak offers Hastur's loincloth to his son, but Pandering refuses to accept it. Then, in a desperate act, he throws the lamp he had been holding toward Vinayak. His body begins to burn, and his son tells him, "Father, sleep, or else Hasta will come for you." Vinayak's obsession with wealth and power causes him to neglect his family, leading to their suffering and eventual downfall. The movie highlights the dangers of greed and how it can lead people to make bad choices. The protagonist's relentless pursuit of wealth and power leads to his downfall and that of his family. The film highlights the importance of moderation and how excess can be destructive. The Vinayak's grandmother warns him about the dangers of becoming too obsessed with wealth and power, but his warnings go unheeded. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. If you have any suggestions for future episodes, please leave them in the comments section below. Until next time, take care. Goodbye